Hello and welcome to the home of the Ghost Owl, and we're continuing our Total Warhammer 3 sort of faction focus series. We're doing it in alphabetical order, and we're now on to the Greenskins. So the roadmap has recently been released. We see there are factions that are getting reworks, factions that are getting new legendary heroes and legendary lords. And as an avid fan of Warhammer Fantasy, I've been playing it since 1992. I thought it'd be interesting to take a look at who the possible legendary lords and heroes that could be added to those factions. And, there are tons of stories out there. There's decades of lore out there. And I wanted to try and narrow it down a little bit to those that either had rules or miniatures that featured in army books. Most recently, the 8th edition army book was the last one that most factions had. So we're trying to stick to that where possible. Obviously, things like Grand Cathay, they didn't have the book in the same way Chaos Dwarfs didn't have a book since 5th edition. So we're trying to keep it relatively narrow. If we look at Creative Assembly so far and the characters they've chosen, there's definitely a leaning towards what's been in an army book, what's had a miniature on the tabletop in a lot of cases. In some cases, they've created whole factions. We're gonna, but we want to try and narrow it down. So, there may be in the names on here that you don't see and you think, oh, that name should be on there. Well, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments at the end of the video of who you think potentially should be in there. But we're just going to go with those that are in the army book or are very, very well known in the story. So if we're looking at the Greenskins, then they're not too bad in terms of legendary lords. They've got 5. Some races obviously have 6 and 7, Skaven and elves and so on. But they've got Grimgor Ironhide, of course, Azag the Slaughterer, Skarsnik, Wurzag, the Great Green Prophet, and Grom the Paunch. Greenskins been a mixture of orcs and goblins. These were all lords in the 8th edition army book, so no surprises there. And for me, there's only one real possible lord that needs to be added to the Greenskins, and that's Gorbad Ironclaw. He was also a lord in 8th edition army book. He's one of the most infamous orc war bosses. Some people say Grimgor. But Gorbad, huge invasion of the Empire, and almost defeated the Empire, in fact, with that. He slayed Emperor Sigismund. I mean, that's a pretty big thing, right? So, he wiped the province of Solent off the map. Absolutely, Gorbad Ironclaw, he should be a legendary lord in this. So I think, there's no real doubt in my mind he's got to be the next one. I'd say there are other choices, of orcs that you could name, but Gorbad Ironclaw just is one that sticks out so massive in Brig Shining Lights that is missing from the Greenskin roster. They don't have any current heroes, but if we look at what possible heroes that you could put in there, you've got Gittilla the Hunter. He was a hero in the 8th edition, and you've got Snagler Gobspit in there as well. If I had to pick one, I think Gittilla the Hunter would be the one that I would choose. I think he would add a slightly different dimension to the Greenskins. For me, the Greenskins are pretty cut and dried. I think they're in a good place overall. I think they're pretty strong overall in a lot of cases. Certainly Grimgor's, pretty strong. And I wouldn't look at Azag either. I think the way their mechanics are right now, I think they're in a good place. So for me, adding Gorbad Ironclaw, quite straightsforward. And then as a hero, I think Gittilla the Hunter would be my choice. Again, to offer something a bit different into the Greenskin faction. I mean, it's pretty short video, pretty clear cut and dry for me in terms of where I think Greenskins could look like from a legendary lord, legendary hero perspective. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. Let me know why in the comments down below. And as I said at the beginning of the video, if you disagree or you think there's other people or other characters that should be in the roster and the reasons why, then please let's have a discussion in those comments down below. If you want to see more content, hit the subscribe button. It is totally free for you to do. It means a lot for me, so thank you for that in advance. And in this short video, you've been watching The Ghost Owl, and I'll see you very soon.